Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about the truth about peak pay and bonus pay. So if you drive for Doordash, UberEats, Grubhub, you've probably seen peak pay pop up on your screen or some sort of bonus that adds to the value of each order you take. Or maybe it's been a minute for you in your area, or if they structured it a little differently in your area. We're specifically going to be targeting peak pay today, but you get the idea. At first glance, this looks like a driver's dream. An extra $2, $3, $4 added to each delivery during busy times. But here's the reality. Peak pay or bonus pay of this caliber isn't always the bonus it appears to be. It's a tool for gig companies to solve their own problems, and if you're not careful, it can trick you into working harder for less. So in this video, we are talking about the truth about peak pay across all platforms, what they tell you versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything we're going to be going over is very market dependent and case by case. What applies to me and my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. What peak pay really is. Peak pay is an incentive gig companies use when they need more drivers on the road. It usually appears during meal rushes, bad weather, or other times when customer demand outpaces available drivers, and the company's goal isn't to give the drivers a raise, is to make sure that orders are done quickly and customers are happy, because at the end of the day, it's about the customers and the merchants, and drivers are disposable in the eyes of the company. Now, what most drivers don't realize is that peak pay isn't a sign that they are valued more or the work is valued more. It is a sign that the company is short on coverage and they need to patch the gap. Or they're trying to get more orders done during a time when they wouldn't be able to otherwise, or they just have an abundance of no-tip orders and not enough earned by time drivers. That's why peak pay goes live when it does. And you often see more drivers logging in at once and flooding markets and chasing peak pay like a flame to a moth. Sometimes even changing zones for that reason. Why peak pay tricks drivers? Peak pay looks attractive. More money per order, that looks great, right? But it could be misleading because many drivers assume that every order is suddenly going to be a profitable order or more orders are going to be profitable. When in reality, the math isn't always mathing. Lower base pay still exists. Just because you're getting a $2 order with a $3 peak pay on top, that boosts it to $5. That doesn't make it fair or worth your time. $3 base pay plus $3 is $6. $6 for an order going 10 miles. That doesn't make sense. So that low of base pay for a long distance order is still a bad deal even with the extra $2. There's also an abundance of no-tip customers on these platforms at the moment. Let's remember, the other reason an order doesn't get accepted is because the customer didn't tip. And sometimes those orders really add up, especially when there are 10 orders in a single location. That place is flaming. And then you wonder why you're sitting next to Taco Bell only getting $2 orders. Honestly, this is exactly why they started Earn by Time in the first place, so you can earn in a different way on these platforms, so they could send all of the no-tip orders there. Remember, it's no tip, no trip. Not no tip, turn on Earn by Time. Not no tip, oh, there's peak pay on top, so it's justifiable. No tip, no trip. It's that simple. And of course, there's driver saturation. The promise of extra pay often lures in more drivers, which means there's more competition for those orders. The result, usually fewer quality orders go around, and even during so-called high demand or very busy on Doordash. In short, peak pay creates the illusion of higher earnings, but the underlying order quality still stays the same. Garbage. Once again, more orders does not mean good orders. How to actually profit with or without peak pay. Now, the key to surviving and thriving as a driver is not simply in the peak pay or chasing peak pay. It's making smarter decisions for every order. And here's how you can approach it. Evaluate orders the same way. Don't let peak pay change your core criteria. Still look at distance, payout, restaurant reputation, and order drop-off location. Treat the peak pay as a bonus, not a guarantee. If an order would have been good without peak pay, it's great with it. If it was bad without peak pay, it's still bad. Peak pay should make good orders great, not bad orders tolerable. And be strategic about the timing. Peak pay does sometimes create opportunities, especially on short stacked orders in areas where tips remain strong. You can make a lot more money that way. But treat those as exceptions and not the rule. And always adjust your hidden tip ratios according to the peak pay. Because the smartest drivers don't let peak pay dictate their strategy or allow circumstances to change their behaviors. They see peak pay as an icing on the cake and not the cake itself. Peak pay can be helpful, but it's not a gift the gig companies want you to believe it is. At the end of the day, it's a lever for companies to pull to protect themselves, not drivers. So make sure to make real money by making consistent, informed decisions about which orders to accept, which ones to decline, and the next time you see peak pay on your screen, it's a signal the company needs you. Doesn't mean that every order is worth your time. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit like, subscribe. If you guys would like to learn about some of the services and gig platforms that we have talked about in the past and are offering gig workers today, make sure to check out my website, drivenwyld.com. And if you want to stay on the cutting edge of what's happening in the gig economy today and be in the know of what most people are talking about, make sure you check out our new channel, Gone Wild Live Clips and Podcasts, where we take the live streams we hold on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and cut them down to more digestible clips and have them posted there. Also, check out my Patreon for more exclusive clips, full-length live stream replays, and other membership perks for the self-employed individuals who want to grow and scale their business. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.